biggest fear there, the fear, their actual interactions with Dan Snyder himself. So they got really into a lot of detail. And the reason this keeps coming back is, and it's really important, is, a lot of people think, well, didn't they have an investigation? Isn't it over? Well, the NFL, according to, what's his name? I just forgot the guy's name, the commissioner.
Roger Goodell.
Thank you. Goodell said, yeah, he did this special investigation, blah, blah, blah. And he didn't allow the lawyer who ran this investigation to submit a written report. Only oral. So the investigation was done. It was like, well, we're going to just have this, 2-minute oral report, and now we're done. We did the investigation. And they fined them like $10 million or something. And there are people saying, wait, hey, hold on a minute. We want a written report. We want to know what happened. You've spent all this money investigating this. And the lawyer who did that for the investigation, her name is Beth Wilkinson. And so she's very interesting too. But yeah, so she was required to just submit an oral report, nothing in writing. Now, how crazy is that? So then the women also, and so that's why it's still out there. It's not going to go away. Hopefully it shouldn't go away. And the ladies who were on his show that were victims basically of this harassment, they even went into why they think Gruden's emails were leaked and who did it, because it is connected. It is connected. And it's also connected because they want to distract from the real problem.
Yes.
And the cover up, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so he did another, and he did a few podcasts actually on this subject recently, very recently, like in the last week. So it's pretty timely. So he also led me in his podcast. He referenced an article that was written in the Washington Post by Sally Jenkins, and she's a sports writer, and again, a blue checkmark person. So, but she, but the thing is, she wrote an article called "The NFL is Paying the Price for Underestimating Daniel Snyder's Problem," and that goes into some really great detail. And the weird thing about it is, she then, like a couple of days later, is writing about Aaron Rodgers and the situation here, and I was thinking to myself, okay, well, isn't the NFL subsidized by us, by taxpayers? That's why transparency is extreme. I mean, these are not private companies per se. The NFL is a not-for-profit organization. A lot of people don't realize that.
I didn't realize that, really?
Yes, not nonprofit, but not-for-profit.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and the way that they get that classification technically is because they take their profits, which are massive, and they divide it among the teams. But even so, they wouldn't have that profit if they didn't have the money that they get from taxpayers. So it got me thinking about the dilemma about even the players being honest in their press conferences and teams covering up for players. And that happened with, there were videos and whatnot in previous, in previous situations. And I don't want to bring up all these terrible situations, but some of this was just so distasteful. And I think for a lot of years, this is one of the many reasons as a female, I was kind of turned off by football, because all of this stuff. And it really is remarkable in 2021 that we're dealing with something this archaic in terms of the sexual harassment and the crazy, like if you hear, and I'm not going to repeat what they said because it's just distasteful. I just can't.
Yeah.
So I would recommend taking a look at Andrew Brandt's information in his podcast and taking a look at Sally Jenkins' article in the Washington Post. And if you want to meander down to the one she wrote today on Aaron Rodgers, you might be interested in that too. Andrew Brandt also interviewed Lisa Banks, who was the attorney representing the women, and her side of things. So it was very, very well-rounded, and it wasn't one-sided in any way. and it's pretty remarkable. I kept hearing about it, and then I didn't hear anything, and then I would hear, well, it was done. And I think the reason it caught my attention again is, I don't know if you know this, but Congress is now looking into this whole thing. And I was like, why is Congress looking into this? And then I kind of looked things up, and it's like, that's right, they're subsidized by taxpayers. So they have to be honest. They have to be transparent. People can't be lying, you know? So anyway, I was very much relieved to hear Andrew Brandt mention that he never saw any of this kind of behavior within the Packers organization. That made me feel good. Mm-hmm. I mean, that may not be always and forever thing, but that just made me feel good as a fan to know that the Packers have and it doesn't surprise me. That's what I would expect, I hope. But we shouldn't expect it's this way everywhere, you know, the way it was at the Washington football. And that's why they were investigating them. It was so horrendous. So the NFL is subsidized. You can look into how to what level that is. It's pretty remarkable. And so I feel like we have the right to demand transparency. So they're, you know, again, super profitable. And I also am going to drop a link to an article from the money department at CNN that kind of goes into how they pay for things with taxpayer money. So, and then the whole House Reform, Oversight and Reform is handling the congressional investigation. We don't know how far, if it'll go super far, but there does seem to be a lot of interest and a lot of people contacting Congress and saying, please go forward with this investigation. It could very easily be that enough senators are going to not, because you know how that works. Mm-hmm. But it kind of looks like they are going to go forward with that investigation at the congressional level. So I think that's important. And it does kind of tie into, just generally speaking, ethics, like you mentioned earlier. Yeah. And sure, we can play around loose with the facts, but you know, I mean, honestly, where was I listening to? Oh, at the last minute, as I was kind of getting ready for our podcast, I was listening to Peter Bukowski's latest podcast, and he brought up, you know, his feelings that he said maybe not be real popular, and I kind of recommend, you know, taking a listen to him too. But you know, he said it kind of how I would say it, that we should expect transparency and honesty, and how that kind of reflects on what level a person is as a leader. So you can't say somebody's a great leader if they're not able to own their actions, good, bad, or indifferent. So, you know, Matt and I were talking earlier before we started. I'm kind of a granola head. living Carlsbad, into alternative medicine, Eastern medicine, vegan, all that. But I own it, you know, and I had qualms about getting vaccinated. I want to go to Africa really badly, but I can't handle the vaccinations, the inoculations that you need to go there. And there's just certain things I won't put my body through, and that's fine. I can own it, or I can own saying to someone, I'd rather not talk about my health or my health decisions, you know, one way or other. But to make something up really says something about who you are as a person, and especially as a so-called leader. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to drag on about that, but but I would definitely recommend listening to Bukowski and some of the links that are going to be left in our show notes, because you could kind of go on all kinds of different tangents, because those articles have links to other articles. And I ended up doing a lot of research, and I felt it was very productive, and I feel like I have a better understanding of what they're looking at and what happened and why. It's not just a bunch of, let's all look for a boogeyman kind of thing. It's real, and it's important, and it is part of, in this case, it's part of the NFL. It's part of a lot of different sports and a lot of different entities that are subsidized by United States taxpayers. So I think it's important for that reason.
Yeah,
kind
absolutely.
of sobering. Yeah.
Well, and I think that for a lot of people, football is a way to escape some of the problems, that surround us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's certainly true for me to a pretty large extent. I mean, I used to be really in touch with like national politics and like listen to NPR a lot. And I've gotten away from that just because it's so hard to deal with for a long time, you know. But that said, I think, you know, weeks like this where you have like the stuff coming out about, you know, Washington, with the football team, stuff like, you know, Aaron Rodgers and COVID and like all the ins and outs of that. It's like, it reminds you like, yeah, these are real people. This is a real stuff. This is happening in the real world. And like, there are issues that need to be grappled with, considered and interrogated and talked about, like, for sure.
Yeah. And I hesitated to bring these up as my, you know, in our podcast, because it's the same thing. I look to football as something fun. My friends are really happy that I've got something that'll slow me down, at least for one day, because I tend to go. And it's like, I just sit there and eat potato chips and watch, you know, and it's really good to have that. And I was the same. I was an activist. I was way involved, but there's a balance too. I don't think that a person like myself, probably like you, could ever just not look at some of this stuff. It's kind of hard not to when it's like staring you in the face. It takes a lot to just be like, well, I don't care about that. Because this could be your sister, your daughter, your mother, you know, whatever. And
absolutely.
Or whatever. So anyway, that's my, and I don't know what to call it. I think I said my superlative today was most important. I do have one, most entertaining. And that was the thread on Barstool Sports with the kids, with the college kids. I don't even know how to explain that one. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'll let you take this one.
Oh gosh. I'm going to just say, just to balance out all that sobering information I just laid on you, I'm just take a look in the show notes to the Barstool Sports link on Twitter and read the comments. They posted a video of something happened. I don't exactly know what happened in the bleachers during a game at, I forgot what college, was it Villanova? Anyway, whatever college it was. And the college kids were, something made them get off of the bleachers onto the gym floor. And for some reason, it was as if there was something invisible there. They were all tripping over each other. And unless you see it, it's not going to be funny, but it's pretty hysterical. But what's really hysterical, and nobody was getting hurt or anything like that, was just like, why are these people? I looked at it and I was like, why is this funny? And why are they falling? And then I started reading the comments and I was entertained for days. It was just the comments on that thread. Did you see all the comments or did you just kind of see the video?
Oh, no, a little bit of the comments. I didn't get like too far into it. But yeah.
Talk about I guess that was my entertainment for the whatever day that was. Was that yesterday? Yeah. It's been kind of a rough week. Doesn't it seem like the Arizona Cardinals game was a month ago?
Well, it does. I know. I mean, those Thursday games are so weird because like that happens, a big splash in like the national, you know, football media, the national sports media, and then all of the games happen on Sunday and kind of wash that Thursday stuff away. Nobody's talking about it anymore because they're focused on like the Sunday games. So yeah, it really makes it seem like, I mean, heck, we recorded after that. Like last week when we recorded is after that game was over. It was late, but like, you know, so it's like it's a whole episode away for us, you know. Yeah.
And now our episode numbers are in alignment with the week number with the NFL because we took a week off. So now we're on. Now I won't get confused. Well, Matt, any final words for our audience today?
Geez, I don't know. I mean, apart from the whole situation, both these big things we talked about, the Washington football team stuff for sure, the Aaron Rodgers situation, it's really heavy. And I think we should consider these things. We should debate them. But at the end of the day, take them along with still enjoying the game for what it is. And this is my way of just saying, like, I'm just really looking forward to the game on Sunday and just really getting into it. And I can't wait for that one.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. Do you have any final thoughts?
Same thing. I think I've come as a human being to the point where I can enjoy. And I think that's what I like about it. It's like, okay, I was kind of turned off by football and, you know, male dominated sports for a reason. But now it's like, I can look at those things, but I don't have to hate the sport. I can still enjoy it. And I feel good about that. I feel really good about that. I am so excited about Sunday's game. I cannot wait to see Jordan Love. I was able to go to Rogers' first game at Lambeau when his first game as a starter for the team.
Nice.
Yeah, it was, I think, 2008. And so I wanted to next year with Jordan Love. I do kind of feel like Rogers going to be back in 2022, to be honest. But yeah, so it might not be until the next year, but I hope to be there when he's the official starter. But I feel really good about it. I hope he does great. I can't imagine the pressure he's going to be feeling. I'm sure he's super excited, but also there's pressure, to perform under the lights with that kind of attention on you, especially underneath Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Who's so talented. It's got to be nerve-wracking, and but he seems like a really calm spirit and
very steady is what people keep
steady
saying about
him. Yeah and I love that guy. And I don't know if you know anything about his background, but his father was a police officer, I believe. He lost his father.
Oh, I didn't know that. At
a young age. Yep. And he comes from a really nice family, and he's also from California. So yeah, I have a little warm place in my heart for Jordan Love. And I honestly never believed the part about all this nonsense that Rodgers was all miffed because they drafted that was just a bunch of nonsense national media.
It's a bunch of drama, clickbait.
Yeah, I never believed that. And he said that too. He said that. And somebody brought that up again today on something. I was like, really? Have you not let that go yet? Anyway, so Maddie, where can we find you on the social media?
Yeah, I'll go first here. So Matt Trombone on Twitter. That's 3 T's in the middle. And how about you?
So you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Dawn DeQuisto. That's DAWNDACQUISTO. And I have a different name on Instagram, but just message me if you need my name. And our podcast is in the same places. Hey! ! We like your pod at Hey Willip, which is HEYWLYP. Yeah. So Maddie, any final thoughts? You know where to find you?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, please, to everybody listening, please subscribe, rate, and share. Hey, we like your pod wherever you listen. Helps us grow our audience and keep doing what we do.
Yes, it does. And we really appreciate you all joining us here, following us, listening. And we're both so glad to know you, to be fans of you, and have the luxury of being fans of the most storied team in the NFL. We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod. And we look forward to seeing you next week on
Hey, we like your pod.
Happy Fallback Day, everyone.
Yes. Dawn, my birthday's this Monday. Yeah, 44. Can't believe it. It just keeps moving.